You cast the glowing orb into the ritual circle and watch as the wood effigies suddenly lose coordination and knock their wooden limbs into each other. You take the opportunity to slip between their tall frames and snatch the mirror shard before their frenzied dance begins anew. fill the bowl with an offering of anatomic liquids. The fluid slowly disappears as if being drained by some unseen thirst until only the wet residue remains.
Sorry, we're closed for this season. You'll have to come back later.
Bye.
You place the token of the undeath into the basin. It flutters like a candle for a moment before the shadowy umbra of the obelisk snuffs it out. With the final offering accepted, the obelisks surrounding the circle begin to hum. You can hear a strange melody playing through the discordant tones. The carvings of the ground burn with renewed energy, driving away the overgrowth. You're quick to step away as you feel a vicious force pull at the circle's center.
I suppose that's done the trick. Let's see what the writing has to say for itself now.
You rotate your head to read the glowing letters on the edge of the circle.
Place the vessel of deceased, yada yada. Recite the avocation of necrodermis, blah blah. Apply the canopic ointment. Right, seems straightforward enough. All I need to do now is go fetch the body of that poor fool husband. He should be here in the swamp somewhere. Ugh, this must be where that nurse has been dumping the surplus of corpses. I'll need to take a closer look at each one to find the right fella. Where on earth is that stinking body? You think I'd be able to find him among the dead hair?
You watch a particularly bloated fly land on a rotting hand poking out of the muck. It's discussing proboscis probes at the withered flesh. Two globular red eyes slowly unglue themselves and swivel to boggle at the insect. A huge slime-covered tongue lashes out and pulls the hapless fly into a gaping, toothless maw, along with most of the sunken corpse.
I suppose that explains where my misplaced man went.
Can it be has a lovely young morsel wandered its way into my palace?
You call this filthy bog a palace?
He throws his head back, shaking the swamp with burbling laughter. Smaller frogs and newts scurry out of the way to avoid being crushed by his enormous bulk.
Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? This place is a veritable bounty of insects, and my subjects have such healthy appetites, so they'll go big and strong. I'd eat you too, but that head of yours looks much too hard. I prefer my fur to be nice and tender.
Look, wouldn't you perchance but I seen an old man pass through, have you? High with a full beard.
Frog taps his fingers against a log, grinning an impossibly large grin.
Yes, I do believe I seen the chap. He had such a delectable aroma and fall off the bone ribs. But I'm sorry to say that when something goes down the hatch, it never sees the light of day again.
We'll see about that. I'm sure I could come up with some just desserts for you.
The frog rolls his eyes around and around as if daring you to try something. You wrap a juicy-looking grub around the medicinal tablets and offer it up to the Frog King.
Your Majesty, I really must find the whereabouts of that gentleman. Perhaps the small tribute will presage you to loosen your tongue.
The frog gulps down the tantalizing meal without a thought.
Delectable gift. Thank you, my pretty. Now, I've already told you where you work.
His nostrils flare for a moment, and then he sneezes, sending specks of wet mucus flying. The frog's throat suddenly expands, filling with gas. The belch that erupts from its lips resonates so loudly that the entire swamp ceases its buzzing. You avert your eyes, but the nose and smell of the frog's explosive eruption almost blow you off your feet.
Great Glinda's ghost, what a stench!
The frog wobbles on its legs, looking thoroughly empty. He teeters before rolling his huge body back into the swamp with a thunderous splash. You spot the slippery body of the husband floating in the bog water. Luckily, he seems to be missing some bits and pieces, so he should fold up nicely. With considerable effort, you unfold the husband's decaying body from your satchel and slap it down in the middle of the circle. Invisible shackles wrap around the corpse's limbs and pull its spread eagle against the ground. Strange mist rise from the obelisk, casting everything in a sickening green light. Slowly but surely, the corpse begins to levitate off the ground. It rotates to face each obelisk one by one.
Oh, get on with it. I haven't got all day.
You give the rotting head a good kick as it passes by you. With a gasp of stale air, the body drops to the ground. Suddenly, it bolts upright.
Well, hello there. You caused me a lot of trouble, you know that.
The reanimated corpse claws at his throat.
Oh, sorry. Wait a moment.
Near your feet, you see a disembodied tongue flopping about on the ground like a worm. You scoop it up and quickly toss it into the man's gaping mouth. Though he moves his jaw, his lurching voice seems to emanate from someplace beyond.
Murder!
What? I am not. You were quite dead when I found you.
No! Leech murdered me!
He clutches at his hollow chest as if trying to feel his heart beating.
Gave me plague. Drained my blood. Leech murdered others.
He swings his limp arm towards the body-filled.
I knew there was some awful stink about that sick house. What sort of doctor infects her own patients?
Check her office. Find proof.
Don't you worry, I'll make sure that parasite gets what's coming to her. But you should head back home. Your wife is half worried about you.
He turns and looks longingly over his shoulder. You can hear his vertebrae propping.
Yes, I've made.
As he shambles into the choking mist, he gives you a crooked nod of thanks. While the Leech is busy with her patients, you rifle through the contents of the various cabinets in her office, mostly dried herbs and potions. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. That is, until you notice a suspicious-looking bookcase set against the wall. The books are all fake, just chopped-down spines glued to a solid plank. Your fingers race across the medical titles and quickly find a loose volume. With a click of switch, the whole bookcase swings open. Your heart jumps at the sight. Racks upon racks of bottled blood are arranged like fine wines, each vessel meticulously catalogued by name, description, and age of its source.
It looks like that thirsty slug's been sapping the living for years.
On a nearby table, you spy a decanter half filled with ruby red liquid. You wonder whose blood it contains.
A dash of salt would remind that slimy worm that there are worse things out there than bloodsuckers.
You sprinkle a generous amount of embalming salts collected from the graves of the Leech's victims. As the salt dissolves into the bloody cocktail, you hear the telltale squelching of the doctor's arrival.
What are you doing? Can't you see this is my private office? I already helped you enough, so there's no reason you ought to be here.
She hastily shuffles you out of the room.
Now get out. This place is only for the sick.
You're certainly right about that.
You walk just out of sight before doubling back to hide behind a weathered get-well bouquet. You peer at the vexed Leech as she slithers about her office, checking every cabinet and locker for tampering. She mutters something about explosive, nosy old women. Satisfied, she sighs with relief and reaches to pour herself a glass from the tainted decanter.
That addition of black fever adds a certain naughty quality. Maybe it'll pair well with an infusion of meatballs palsy in the next batch.
She takes a sip, waiting just a moment before throwing her head back and guzzling it all down.
Lovely. Sharp flavor. Full body, too.
Suddenly, the Leech snaps attention. Her limbs dart out, writhing uncontrollably gestures, stabilizes herself against the table as sweat pools on her brow. The decanter shatters against the floor in an explosion of glass.
What's happening?
The Leech spasms as the tendrils of ghostly spirits begin to suck the moisture from her body. You watch as she dwindles in size, shrinking like some horrible raisin. You inspect the mummified worm, pressing it between your fingers lightly.
Drained by the very spirit she was supposed to be healing.
In your fingertips, you make out the faintest of heartbeats, the soul of the Leech.